Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So in today's video, we're going to be making some tags. Now, I recently purchased a few items of clothing from a company in the UK called Stencil, and they came with these tags on that normally have the prices on the back. And I thought, how can I upcycle them? Because they're the perfect shape and size for a gift tag. It seems a shame just to throw them in the bin when I'm sure that I could upcycle them and reuse them. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Now, I've got this folder of gel prints and pre-cut stamps, coloured images and sentiments from rubber dance that I keep to the side of me. And so that is what we're going to use today to collage on these tags. Now, first of all, I decided to cover the tags in gesso. However, this is completely optional and was completely unnecessary in the end for how I chose to decorate the tags. So the purpose of gesso is that it can help paint stick to a surface. It also can prevent paint seeping through, especially if you're using an art journal. And it also can strengthen the paper so that you can apply layers of collage and heavier embellishments. But for what I chose to do today, it really wasn't necessary to do this. But once I'd coated the tags in gesso, both front and back, I then just used my heat tool just to dry them off quickly so that I could move on to the next step. So once the tags are dry, I then choose to pull out some of the elements that I'm going to use for collage. So some of the gel prints from the stash that I've already got. And I'm going to use some gel medium to adhere these down to the tags. I choose to keep the same pieces of collage on each of the tags just so that they're all kind of cohesive. Of course, that was completely unnecessary. But it's just a nice way of kind of doing something similar at the same time, but also having a little bit of variation. Incidentally, the blue pieces of gel print that I'm attaching down now were actually handmade washi paper that I'd made, but I'd accidentally gel printed on the wrong side, so it was on the adhesive sheet. So that's why I'm having to use some gel medium to attach those down. I also did some monochromatic gel printing in my last gel printing session. So these are the black and white gel prints, and they're really great for adding contrast when you're doing collage or in your art journaling. So it's really nice to have those to hand. So once the front's dried, I'm just adding some white acrylic paint to the back now. The gesso was quite translucent and I really wanted it to be a bit more opaque on the back. So I've just added some white acrylic paint and I'm just drying it off with my heat tool now. So once they're all dry, I'm just able to use my long-bladed Holtz scissors just to trim off the excess and just to really neaten up those edges. Of course, you could use a paper trimmer if you didn't feel confident trimming along the edges, but because they're nice straight lines and these are really long-bladed scissors, it's quite easy just to trim off the excess and keep it nice and neat. So once all that excess has been trimmed off, I'm then coming in now with just a hole punch, just to punch the tag holes back in the tags. Because obviously we're going to be using them as tags, so I do need to keep that hole in place. And then next, it's really time to decorate the tags and choose what our focal elements are going to be. So I've already got a selection of these rubber dance stamps that are stamped and watercoloured that I had in my little folder. So I'm just kind of deciding what I want to go with. I really want all three to be similar, so I chose to go with the birds today. These are the Sketchy Birds number 2 stamp set, and then I'm also using the new Collage leaf stamp set. I'll link all the products in the description box below as usual, so that if there's anything that you're particularly interested in, you'll be able to have a look at the links there. So I'm just fussy cutting out this leaf that was in my stash. Sometimes I fussy cut all the images and put them in the folder. Other times I still keep them on the sheet that I'd originally stamped them on so that they're ready to go later on. And so that I'm just quickly fussy cutting this one out now. So next for the sentiments, I'd already got some sentiments stamped out from the Collage leaf stamp set. So I'm just going to trim those down with my mini Holtz trimmer. I really absolutely love this trimmer. It's like the perfect size just to keep on your desk, and it's great for trimming sentiments. And I often use the plastic like finger guard as a guide to make sure that the lines are even all around the sentiments. So yeah, it's really handy to have. So once I've trimmed all of those out, I've decided that I really wanted to decorate the back a little bit more rather than keep them plain white. So I'm going to bring in the Collage leaves stamp set now, and I've got some tissue paper. This is just some leftover packaging that I kept, and all I'm going to do is choose 2 of the leaves, and I'm just going to ink them up in Versafine Onyx black ink, and I'm just going to stamp them randomly all over the tissue paper. And this is just going to kind of create our own patterned paper that we can then use on the back of the tags. So I'm just using a couple of the different leaves, and then I'm going to come in with the sentiment that says this is art, and I'm just going to randomly stamp that all over the tissue paper as well. Once I've finished stamping that, because the Versafine Onyx Black ink takes a little while to dry, I'm just going to come in with my heat tool just to kind of dry that off quickly, because I don't want to smudge the ink when I use the matte medium to just attach it to the back of the tags. So I'm just kind of adding some matte medium to the back of the tag, sticking the tissue paper on the top and then going over it again with the matte medium just to kind of seal that in. And I'm just going to do the same for all three of the tags. I'm just roughly trimming around the tags at this stage, because while the glue is wet, I don't want the tissue paper to kind of tear or come unstuck. So I'm just kind of leaving those to dry. And then once I've done all three, I'm just going to again come in with my Sizzix heat tool and just quickly dry those off. And then we're able to just trim off the excess tissue paper. Again, I'm using my Tim Holtz long bladed scissors. And then I just think it really finishes off the tags nice and neatly. As you can see, the holes are now covered up with the tissue paper. So I'm just coming in with my Pokey tool just to kind of poke the hole back through. And if I just run it around the edge, it kind of neatens up the circle again without the need to bring in the punch. Because the tissue paper is so thin and obviously it's still a little bit moist from the matte medium, I didn't really want to bring the punch back in because I felt like it might cause the tissue paper to tear. So yeah, it was just easier to do that with my Pokey tool. Of course, you could just leave it to dry and then come back in with the hole punch if you felt more confident doing that. So once they're all nice and dry front and back, I'm then just going to attach all of these elements down to the tags. I'm just using some Cosmic Shimmer quick grab glue for this, but of course you could have used the matte medium again, or whatever adhesive you like to use. So I'm just sticking those down nice and flat, and then I'm just adding the bird over the top. So once they're all stuck down, I'm then going to add these sentiments, and I've chose to use 3 sentiments. The one says trust the process, the other says don't limit yourself, and the other one says make today count. And I'm just cutting the sentiments up a little bit, the long ones especially, just so that I can stick those down nicely on the tag, and then the other one I've just kept whole. And then I'm just going to go around the edge of those sentiments using a black marker pen. Well, this is a felt tip pen actually. It's actually a glitter felt tip pen that I've never actually used for its real purpose. It's great for just adding outlines on the tag. And I think that just really kind of makes the sentiments stand out on the tags, just going around it with a black marker. Now, of course, you could add some black splatters here, but I've chose not to today. I really don't want to mess up the tags that I've made, and I always worry when adding splatters that I'm going to get them all over my sentiment and all over my focal image, which is quite often what happens. So I've left those today without any splatters on. I'm just using some red thread that I've kept, and I've just I'm using that just to add the little ribbons on the tags. And then they're the finished tags for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing this process video. I'm just going to show you close-ups of the front and backs of the tags now. And yeah, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you like to see mixed media projects and collage. And of course, you could have always used these tags in your art journaling and also for gift tags. So thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more videos from my channel. So thank you so much for watching. Take care.